So there again, they can get on your dogs, your cats, your kids, or whatever. And then we worry about the Lyme disease. Those are the little tiny ticks that are very, very, very hard to see. A lot of hunters that go out deer hunting, that we'll probably see that started, in November. Those are so small, a lot of times they're bitten, and the person doesn't even know they've been there.
What is ways to protect? Just sprays or whatever?
Well, that, and then there's certain things that you can wear around your ankles to keep those from crawling up through the pant leg, around your wrists and stuff like that to help prevent. Then there's a spray that you can actually put on your clothing to help keep insects away.
And of course, for the animals, your dog and flea and tick collars.
The collars don't work as well as the topicals.
Okay.
And even the powders actually work, pretty decent. But the collars just aren't strong enough to actually help, to keep them off permanently. You actually need something that's either going to has what we call a residual to keep those from actually coming back. And there's several different products that are on the market that will actually kill the adult, and then the eggs that grow up, and then the little larval stages.
And what a lot of people don't realize, if you don't take care of your animals in the right, proper fashion, those fleas and ticks can get over on you.
Well, yeah, if they don't have them to munch on, then they're gonna find somebody to eat on. The other thing is the heartworm, and those there again is carried by a mosquito, so you want to make sure that your pets are protected against heartworm disease too.
Let's touch on a topic that is really widespread, and a lot of times you've not heard of it until recently: bed bugs. And it is everywhere. I mean, how does this contract on people? Does it get on their clothing or what?
Well, they're hitchhikers.
Okay.
That's how they go from place to place. And so they'll get on like your purse, or if you've got your luggage. Say if you've gone to a hotel, first thing you need to do is to pull that sheet back and look to see around the edges to make sure that you don't have little black spots or whatever.
Oh my goodness.
And if you do, then you need to leave.
Exactly.
Because they can get on your person, or like I said, your luggage or your purse or whatever, because they're hitchhikers. That's how they go from one place to another.
Well, I recently seen that they've shut down certain businesses, and they had to go in there and spray for them and just remodel, and these are dangerous too.
Well, they're nasty. It's expensive to get rid of. When we had the World Equestrian event in Lexington, a lot of people came from like Europe and all over the world. Well, now Lexington has a very, very, very bad bedbug population.
Now, let me ask you some important questions here. If somebody has been around somebody that's got bed bugs, does that mean that you've got bed bugs?
Well, I mean, it's a possibility, but we have a lot of nurses that go into houses and stuff like that, for home visits and that type of thing. They carry a little bottle of alcohol. Alcohol will actually kill if you can get it directly on the adult to kill it, but it won't do anything for the little eggs or anything else. A professional exterminator is actually the best person to come in and treat the house or whatever, or if it's your apartment or whatever.
Right.
A lot of people try to take care of that themselves, and then they just wind up, in worse shape than they were before. Remember the lady in Lexington that was on the news? She decided she would try the high heat method.
Oh.
She had all those space heaters that she put around, and she wound up burning her house down. She got rid of the bed bugs, but then she didn't have a house to go back to either.
My goodness. And people don't realize how dangerous these are, bed bugs. If it's not treated, they can set up diseases or things like that.
Well, we haven't really been able to show that bed bugs carry disease, but there again, the bites that they actually can do become infected because you scratch, they itch. And who wants to see a little kid that's just eaten up with bed bugs?
Oh my goodness.
Same thing that, they can just, and they love that young, tender skin, just like mosquitoes do. So we've had a lot of people that, have just been plagued with bed bugs.
What are ways that we can protect ourselves? Because, you might be walking to somebody in a shopping store and they have bed bugs on their clothes or whatever. Can they jump over on you?
They usually are not a jumper.
Okay.
So you have to actually come in contact. But something that a lot of people don't realize, that new clothing, particularly ones that are being shipped in here from overseas, like China, you need to take those home, even if you buy them new off the rack, put them in the dryer and run that dryer for at least 20 minutes on high heat. That high heat will kill the adults, the eggs, and any little larval stages that are on those clothes. That's another thing that I tell people when they call and say, well, I've had bed bugs, we've had the house treated, what do I need to do with the clothing? Put that in the dryer, run it for 20 minutes on a high heat cycle to kill the adults, the eggs that's there. Even these kids that go into schools, we see a lot of kids coming home, from school that have bed bugs. And so there again, once that their little backpacks and stuff like that, the clothing that they have on, we have them change clothes, put those clothes that they had on during that day in the dryer, and run that dryer just to keep from, cross-contaminating themselves.